Okay. Hey, everybody. My name is Zach Schulman. I run the Entrepreneurship program. I can see I'm dealing with some sunlight in my face, so hopefully the shadows aren't that bad. I've been at Cornell for a long time, actually. I went to school here, graduated in 1987 from ILR, and then law school in 1990. Left and went to Boston and came back in 96, and I've been back here ever since in various capacities working at Cornell. I've been running this office, Entrepreneurship at Cornell, for about 7 years. And we are delighted to welcome you all to our kickoff event for the 2021 academic year. So obviously we're not live, well, we're live on Zoom, but we're not live in person. But whether you're attending from a dorm room, an apartment in College Town, on Roosevelt Island in the house, or somewhere else at home with family, or even in quarantine, for those of you that are still in quarantine, we're just delighted to have you with us, and we're delighted to share with you more about the entrepreneurship landscape at Cornell. Okay, and actually, you know, we should face reality. Dealing with COVID is actually pretty good training for being an entrepreneur. So it puts us through our paces, and it's a tough situation, but we are definitely making the most of it and the best of it. Just gonna advance my slides. So, Entrepreneurship at Cornell, okay, is here to help you start your businesses, social enterprises, be better at business, whether it's at a larger company or a startup, okay, and really just help you on your way on your entrepreneurial journey, right? We are truly here to help. I want to make a quick note that we are 100% university-wide. I like to joke around with people and say I think I'm the only Cornell employee who actually reports to 12 deans. I'm quite sure that's true. You know, it's actually a lot of fun, but every single school and college at Cornell really does support entrepreneurship. So it's just a wonderful ecosystem that we have. I also want to point out briefly, and we'll come back to this later, even though we're 100% virtual for now, we do have two awesome co-working spaces. One of them is in Kennedy Hall. In fact, there's students here right now. I'm in the office today for the first time since March. It's kind of fun to be back. And we have a wonderful space in College Town, 409 College Ave, right in the middle of College Town. Right now, the spaces are closed for general use, but soon, hopefully soon, we'll get them opened up again. Okay. I'm also going to draw your attention that there are a lot of things going on in entrepreneurship in the Cornell ecosystem. Entrepreneurship at Cornell only runs a small fraction of them, actually. I'll tell you about those later today, but there are literally over 40 nodes of entrepreneurship at Cornell scattered throughout the university. Some reside in a school or college, some are actually independent programs. And the real key is that you can learn all about them from our website, and I'll send you the link later. It'll be in the slides. We have a great entrepreneurship ecosystem map, and you can really understand it quite easily. Okay, so at this point, what we're going to do is have some fun, and it's time for the eLab pitches. eLab is our business accelerator program, which Ken Rother, the director, will explain. And we're going to hear some live pitches from students, and the winner will be announced later in the show, and that winner will be admitted to eLab. So I'm going to turn it over to Ken, and I'll be back with you in, I don't know, say 25 or 30 minutes.
Thanks. All right, thanks, Zach. Hey, everybody, I'm Ken Rother. I'm Managing Director of eLab, and along with 7 other folks who are part of the teaching team, we're thrilled to be here today. So let me tell you quickly about eLab. eLab is really kind of I would say almost the capstone entrepreneurship program at Cornell. It's really for students who are looking to launch a business, a scalable business, as they're ending their academic career. We take people, undergrads, grads, and PhD students, starting from juniors all the way up to, as I said, to PhD students from all over the university. We've had, I think, just about every school represented. I'm not sure we've had a vet student yet, but we've had students from every other part of Cornell, including some from Cornell Tech. Every year we take in around 12 to 15 teams, And over the course of a year, both through a combined 4-credit program of 2 different courses, one in the fall and one in the spring, as well as a specific accelerator program to help you move your idea along, develop a business model, look at doing some MVP work, and finally looking at launching a business. As I said, we help 12 to 15 teams a year, and we have a great track record. You can look at the eLab website, elabstartup.com, where you can see some of the alumni who have gone through the program, and many of those alumni now are participating in various capacities, helping advise teams, acting as judges in programs, and just being there for startups that are just coming on side. So the way we do this is applications were open for the last 3 months almost. We have a record number of applications, I think over 90 applications this year. And we're going to be interviewing them Thursday and Friday, where we take, as I said, 12 to 15 teams. But the folks who win today, the pitch competition, they're automatically admitted to eLab. So they don't have to go through the torturous now. They don't have to go through the interview with the teaching team. They are automatically going to be admitted. So without any further ado, I want to get right to the pitch competition. We have 4 teams we're going to be pitching today. Our first team up is Bolt. So I'm going to turn it over to Bolt. We can't hear you.
Hello, my name is Kyle Betts, and I'll be presenting for Team Bolt today. Our team consists of myself and Dan Webman. I study electrical and computer engineering, and Dan is a recent graduate of applied economics and management. I'm currently on the men's ice hockey team, and Dan is a former player as well. We've both been playing hockey since we were 3 years old, and throughout the years, there's been a persistent problem in how hockey players train, which has annoyed both us as well as past and present teammates. For those unfamiliar with hockey, skating is the most important skill in the sport. It's what separates the elite players from the mediocre players. Yet this intricate movement is the hardest skill to master and develop. The reason for this is due to the fact that the current technique used to improve a hockey player's skating stride is imprecise and subjective. Players from all levels are handcuffed by the fact they have to rely on skating instructors to try to identify deficiencies and weaknesses in their skating just by watching them skate up and down the ice a few times at top speed. After hours and hours of training, players often leave the sessions frustrated, believing they did not get what they wanted to out of the session. Hoping to experiment with if this is a universal problem with all hockey players, we've reached out and contacted many groups from the hockey community. We've even spoken to multiple NHL teams' GMs and their training staff, including the Edmonton Oilers, New York Rangers, Florida Panthers, and others. Through these discussions, we've identified a hypothesis for the initial customer group, which would be NHL skating and skill coaches. The reason for this target is the fact that these personnel on the NHL teams are the ones responsible for deciding where the training budget is used and how it is used. Also, the budget for NHL teams training is massive, and these top tier teams are seeking any way they can get a slight competitive advantage over their competitors. Also in these discussions, we found many different things that are interesting. NHL teams say that skating is the #1 skill they want their players to improve upon. Also, they've said that they recognize the fact that the current methods are not ideal as they suffer from subjectivity, lack of personalization, and the feedback the players are receiving is inaccurate and imprecise due to the error of human eyes. With this information in mind, we've identified one potential solution that could solve this problem, which would be to use existing IMU technology in a motion capture suit. Pushing 18 sensors across the body would allow us to measure metrics such as joint angles, segment velocities, body part positions, and many other important metrics that are crucial to a player developing a perfect stride and taking their game to the next level. We have currently done a little bit of beta testing with NHL players and received some great feedback. We look forward to continuing our conversations with more NHL teams and to continue our testing with more NHL players to revise this potential solution to be the solution that everyone is looking for in this industry. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Bolt. That was awesome. Okay, next up, we have Rent Trade. Rent Trade, you are up.
So I was scrolling through Twitter during COVID at the beginning of the semester, and I came across this tweet by Chrissy Teigen. She was offering to trade banana bread that she makes for romaine lettuce. Then a few months later, fellow Cornellian Tiffany Brazier also posted asking someone if they'd be willing to rent out their elliptical. They both come from different backgrounds, but what do they have in common? They both need an alternative method for exchanging goods. And they're not the only ones.
Based on preliminary market research with around 50 participants, we found that 50% of those who do not use a shared economy good state lack of access is the key reason. Additionally, 54% of those who don't trade do so because they haven't been presented with a convenient opportunity. I'm Kyle Infantino, and along with Jade Meyer, Oiku Kalak, and Samya Sharma, we present to you Rent Trade.
So who will Rent Trade serve? Rent Trade will initially target low-income single moms needing an alternative source of income or cash-free good exchange. COVID has brought out the spirit of the doers, and the best example of this is a group of moms in Las Vegas who took the matters into their hands by creating a Facebook bartering group. These moms and the other articles above demonstrate that our initial target customer base is a group that can benefit the most by using our product when it comes to big purchases. Low income, single, and young mothers who need an alternative source of income or cash-free good exchange. And Rent Trade enables both of these opportunities by its two features, which are renting and trading.
Our value proposition directly aligns with our target customers' needs. First, we intend to consolidate the renting and trading marketplaces into a single unified platform to ensure maximum convenience for our users, knowing that they will have very little time on their hands. Additionally, Rent Trade allows users to make money on their own flexible schedule, making it a very low commitment income source. Renters can offer goods whenever they're not in use, and rentees can rent those goods instead of saving up for a big purchase as they would have to traditionally. Finally, Rent Trade is accessible to anyone with an iPhone. Customers who are more focused on saving money than making money can trade goods 100% cash-free, making it a win-win for both parties. Clearly, this app concept will require significant brain power to develop, but we believe that with eLab's help, we can make Rent Trade a reality. Thank you.
Nice job. All right. Before I introduce the next team, I want to introduce some of my teaching colleagues who are the judges today. So in no particular order, Steve Gall, who teaches in the business school and a Cornell alum, Andrea Eppolito, who teaches in the engineering school and the business school and is launching her own business and is also a Cornell undergrad and Masters of Engineering alum, and Tom Schreiber, who is also an undergrad and MBA alum and teaches in the business school and runs a number of programs. So we'll be meeting after to make our selection. But next up pitching is Your Cure.
Hello, my name is Josh Levine, and together with Felipe Hanuch, we have created Your Cure. We've identified that there's a problem out there. Type 1 diabetics are unable to adequately express themselves within their current personal networks. Despite having loving family members, caring friends, and expertly trained physicians to help them out and support them, these people are unable to provide for type 1 diabetics and allow them to express themselves completely. We've identified our user as a 12 to 30-year-old that suffers from type 1 diabetes. We've done a number of customer discovery interviews with people in this age range, as well as people who are parents of them and treat them every day as doctors. After these customer discovery interviews, we've heard a lot of different feedback. A lot of people are telling us that they've been looking their entire life for a type 1 diabetic friend, but they're unable to find one. Additionally, other people are saying that they know a type 1 diabetic acquaintance, but it's hard to connect with this person because there's a great difference in age and they don't really share anything in common. In order to confirm that this problem really exists, we launched a simple minimum viable product, a Google form on a type 1 diabetes subreddit page. Within 24 hours, we had over 100 signups. We promised these users that we would connect them based off of their interests and age and demographics. People reached out to us as soon as we posted this and commented on our post that they were so happy to see that we're making this difference and putting people in contact. They were eager and desperate to get in contact with someone that shared similarities with them that also had type 1 diabetes. This confirmed to us that this problem is real and that we need to do something. With YourCure, we're able to enhance the lives of type 1 diabetics in a variety of ways. First, happiness. YourCure is increasing happiness amongst type 1 diabetics by allowing them to express themselves in terms of emotions and experiences that they've had from type 1 diabetes. Unfortunately, they are unable to express these different situations to people in their current network because these people don't know what it's like to live with type 1 diabetes. This causes the patients to bottle up their anxiety and leads to additional stress. Living with type 1 diabetes is stressful enough, and we want to make sure we can alleviate this stress, and we are. Additionally, empowerment. We're empowering type 1 diabetics to become more responsible and independent when it comes to treatment of their disease. By putting them in contact and developing these interpersonal connections, we're strengthening the type 1 diabetic community and allowing these people to be comfortable with who they truly are. We're allowing them to be proud of their unique self living with type 1 diabetes, unlike so many other people. Another way we're helping them is through knowledge. We're allowing type 1 diabetics to share knowledge related specifically to the disease with their peers with type 1 diabetes. Since we plan on matching people based on interest and age and a similar lifestyle, this will allow them to share things that work for the way they operate. Treating diabetes can often be guess and check work, and it's very difficult. But by putting people in contact with such similar lifestyles, we're able to allow them to know what works for them in terms of diets, medical devices, and different ways to navigate insurance plans. With YourCure, we're increasing the safety of a type 1 diabetic lifestyle as well as the enjoyment for everyone with type 1 diabetes. Thank you.
All right. And our fourth and final presentation is from Vita Innovations. The floor is yours.
Thanks, Ken. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Langsha, and I'm representing Vita Innovations, a team of diverse Cornell undergraduates from computer science, medicine, engineering, and business. So the problem we're seeking to alleviate symptoms of is emergency department overcrowding, which is a global healthcare issue characterized by when the demand for healthcare far exceeds the capacity of any individual ED to meet at any time point. And for patients, and especially large urban hospitals, they may sometimes wait 4 to 12 hours before medical care is provided, with little to monitoring during that time. This leads to decreased patient satisfaction, progression of symptoms of subtle heart attacks and subtle strokes, increased number of walkouts, and above all, increased mortality. And this is a huge systemic inefficiency and poses a major problem to hospital administrators, as they are not maximizing their profits when patients walk out due to lack of care. And they're increasing their own liability when patients' conditions unnoticeably worsen. Now with COVID, there's this additional fear that they could get transmission of viral particulates. So we conducted 59 customer discovery interviews to validate our problem to ED administrators in large urban hospitals. And we utilized the I-Core method, where without disclosing anything about our product, we asked them a simple question. What are some of your largest challenges that keep you up at night about your job? Without fail, every single one of them has cited ED overcrowding, with one medical director of an adult ED saying that he would not want his friend to be in an ED that he manages, with another saying that he would have regretted not doing something sooner, but he simply couldn't. And overall, this is just a huge national crisis. So through this process, we now know that our customers are looking for benefits in 2 areas. One is a cost-effective and portable way to continuously monitor patients in a waiting room. And another is something that we had no idea of until we started talking to customers, that they want a system that prevents alarm fatigue for overworked nurses and physicians, thus improving patient care and work satisfaction for employees. So in total, our customer discovery process to date has enabled us to create Vital Mask, which is the first ever smart respiratory mask that measures patients' body temperature, respiratory rate, saturated oxygen levels, and breathing rate, while also equipped with the alarm fatigue prevention algorithm. However, this is just the beginning, a design that will keep on iterating and iterating as importantly, we learn more about our customers and their needs and what we could do to meet them. And we are still students, but that doesn't mean that our ideas and our voices can't help catalyze the next big change in patient care. So we hope that under the guidance of eLab, we can accelerate this process. Again, we are at Vita Innovations, and thank you for your time.
All right, good job, everybody. Really good job. We got our work cut out for us. All right, we are now going to head off to figure out the winner. We will be back in a little bit, and I think I'm going to be turning it back to Zach now.
Super. Okay. So those are excellent pitches. You know, seeing a pitch for the first time, I don't know if there's a bunch of first-year students on the webinar now. I'm guessing there are. It can be a little intimidating. All of the companies that just pitched are upperclassmen, by the way, and you know they've really been put through their paces a bit through our various programming. The teams that apply to eLab, generally speaking, are really well-formed, well-thought-about companies. And as you probably and hopefully noticed, very, very cross-disciplinary. So teams have a lot of students, or have some students from the business school, engineering, computer science, human ecology, et cetera. So it's a really good mix of students. And the reality is any startup needs that. Okay, so that's one thing that you'll hear from us if you come to us for advice is find a good set of people to start your company with. Okay, so we're gonna now go into some of the stuff that Entrepreneurship at Cornell offers. And after we're done with that, we'll hear back on the winner of the eLab pitch. And then we're gonna go into our virtual booths so you can even explore more and understand a bunch of other things going on across the university. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, E@C is fully supported by every school and college, and that means by their deans, which is absolutely critical. And we offer our programming to everybody at Cornell, undergrad, grad, even alumni, faculty, and staff. Okay, so I'm gonna jump in and explore some of these offerings now, and I'm gonna start off with mentorship. Mentorship is a really, really critical thing. Okay, and our office offers 3 types of mentorship, generally speaking, and I wanna make it clear, other schools and colleges have their own mentorship programs, okay, which is awesome. Some of you may have participated in the Pillsbury Institute in the hotel school in their kickoff a couple of days ago. They have a great mentorship program as well, as do other schools at Cornell. So we have Blackstone Launchpad, which is for every type of question that you have, whether it's as simple as what is an entrepreneur to I need to get some distribution in Bulgaria, how can you help me out? Okay, so it really, really runs the spectrum. We have a staff person at E@C, Felix Litinsky, who runs that program. Startup Tree is our software platform that is now used by literally probably close to 100 different colleges across the country and the world. Through Startup Tree, you can find mentors through the platform, and I'll provide links to all this at the end, so nobody has to look for them. And last, we do have a great advisory council made up of wonderful people, almost all Cornell alumni who love to interact with students. Okay, so a lot of students often come to me and I say, oh, send me an email, explain what you need, and I can hook you up with some advisory council members. Okay, moving on. We run an internship program through our office. So Deb Mesh, who's the Assistant Director of Entrepreneurship at Cornell, runs this program. We place interns with companies that typically would not be recruiting on campus, so smaller companies. And even with COVID, we placed 44 students at 32 companies last summer, which is normal for us. That's actually a very good year. And again, that is a program that we run internally. And again, details about the program are all on our website. Hackathons. Amy Stewart, who you've heard from earlier today, is in charge of all of the hackathons that are run by Entrepreneurship at Cornell. So if you're interested in taking a short weekend sprint through some serious ideation, as opposed to company formation, hackathons are a wonderful outlet for that. Okay, the topical areas for this year's upcoming hackathons are on your screen. They are intense, they're tiring, they're fun, and they're really, really rewarding, and you can meet a lot of cool people as well. Okay, so I would definitely recommend hackathons for those that want that experience. Okay, moving on, connecting with peers. A lot of what we stress at Cornell in general is students helping students, right? So faculty and staff and mentors, we can provide excellent input, but there are a lot of students who have been through this before because they're older. We want you to take advantage of them. And life-changing labs is a primary way of doing that. Okay, it's a year-round opportunity. It's run like a student club. Okay, and it's dedicated to helping students build their entrepreneurial skills and accelerate their business ideas. And in addition to monthly get-togethers, which are now virtual, Life-Changing Labs also hosts a summer incubator program. And this year, of course, that was virtual because all of Cornell's in-person activities were shut down over the summer. But the virtual incubator was a great success and worked out really, really well. Okay. We do a lot with social entrepreneurship, and one of the primary outlets for that is the Clinton Global Initiative University, which Entrepreneurship at Cornell runs for the Cornell chapter of what we call CGIU. Okay, so we run that chapter, and simply put, CGIU challenges students to make what we call commitments to action, which are new, specific and measurable initiatives that address pressing challenges in the world today. Okay, there'll be details about CGIU coming out on our listserv. I'm going to talk about the listserv in just a few minutes, but it's absolutely critical to join. Okay, and this year applications to become a CGIU delegate will open in later September. And interested students can address questions to another EHC staff member, Deb Eichten, who is our liaison to the Clinton Foundation. One thing that we did during what I call COVID crazy times was partner up with the Cornell Entrepreneur Network, which is a function out of Alumni Affairs and Development, to produce a series of monthly webinars. And we purposely structured these to be webinars that were not dealing with COVID or not addressing COVID specifically. So we had the founder of the Brooklyn Brewery. We did a virtual happy hour. That was a lot of fun over the summer. We had an interview with Albert Wenger, who is a very prominent VC at Union Square Ventures. We did a webinar with the Chief Diversity Officer at Verizon just about 10 days ago, which was also very, very informative. Next week, we have a webinar with Rob Ryan, who is a Cornellian who founded a company called Ascend Communications, which literally enabled the internet to be accessible for what I would call consumers. His company was sold to Lucent, by the way, Lucent Technologies for $24 billion in the early 2000s. It was a huge, huge exit. Kathy Merrill will be joining us in October. She's the CEO of the Washingtonian Magazine. So it's right before the election, so we thought that'd be fun to have somebody in the DC election circuit giving us her insights. And in November, we skip our webinar because we have a huge conference with 8 really wonderful speakers called Eclectic Convergence. You'll see a slide on that in a moment. And then in December, the founder of Home Depot, Arthur Blank, is going to be joining us. He has a child at Cornell now, which is wonderful. And Arthur's excited to join us in December. So that's our webinar series. You've heard about eLab already, but I just want to make it crystal clear. It is one of our marquee programs in the entrepreneurship ecosystem. very, very well run by Ken and the teaching team. It's competitive, difficult to get into, but nowhere nearly as difficult as it is to get into Cornell, by the way. Last year we had about 70 applications, 25 teams were admitted. So again, wonderful, wonderful program. It's run as a course, so you get course credit for going through it, which is a big bonus. We look forward in just a few minutes to seeing which of the 4 teams was automatically admitted into the eLab cohort for 2021. Okay, we are right on track in terms of time. So we also manage 2 fabulous co-working spaces, as I mentioned earlier. Okay, one is in College Town, 409 College Ave, 10,000 square feet. We are so looking forward to that facility being open again with all of its programming. Right now during COVID, it is still closed, obviously. And once the virus is more under control, we will get permission to open it. We hope to have it open at least for the eLab team so they can have a place to congregate and work. So we'll get more on that coming up soon. And we also have a co-working space in Kennedy Hall, which is actually being used right now. There's tables there that are spread out and students can actually work there. Not too much programming going on as we're all, non-essential folks, so basically non-faculty. We are being highly encouraged to stay off campus as long as possible. So we'll be carrying on virtually for the time being, but we are still here to serve. Okay. I mentioned 2 of our big conferences. So Eclectic Convergence is coming up on November 13th. It typically would be in New York City at the Times Center. This year it's virtual. Right now we have 7 confirmed speakers. I have a phone call with an eighth speaker lined up for next week. So hopefully we'll be getting her as well. This year Eclectic Convergence is actually free. Usually we charge for it because holding a big conference in New York City is very, very expensive. But we'll probably have, I'm going to guess, over 1,000 participants for Eclectic Convergence this year. Typically we get about 500 live, so I'm guessing we can easily double that with it being virtual, and particularly with it being for free. Celebration is in Ithaca. This is the logo from last year's event. It'll be in April. It'll feature, again, speakers. It will feature the eLab demo day as well, which is sort of fun to see all the teams pitching. It's a very, very high energy event. So look for that coming up in April. Again, that's a big event, and we will likely have a whole bunch of speakers at that as well. Okay, so now I have to ask the question, Ken, I hope you can still hear me. Are you guys ready to go?
We are ready to go.
Excellent. So Amy, I think we're good right now. I'm waiting for the drum roll.
All right.
Okay, let's get do we want to put all of our judges on as well so they can be with you? Okay.
Excellent.
All of our judges.
Okay. Here's our judges. Awesome.
All right.
Can we get a drum roll, please?
That's very good, Tom. All right.
Okay. Well, fortunately for the judges, we did this over Slack because normally by now one of us is bloody because it's such a tough call. But as usual, as always said, it was a tough call, but we came up with a winner. And the winner this year, who's getting into eLab automatically, doesn't have to go through the interview process, is Vita Innovations. Congratulations.
Woo! Congratulations, Vita.
We will, the other folks, good job. We will see you either Thursday or Friday. Look for an email if you haven't got one already. We're just getting everything sorted out, and we'll see you in the next couple of days in the interviews. So thanks everybody for putting on a really good show. That was great fun. We'll talk soon.
Excellent. Okay, I'm gonna go back to my screen share. Congratulations, Vita. Okay, so here are some key links. And again, we'll be sending this presentation out to you all afterwards. Okay, so the E@C website link is on top. eship.cornell.edu. There's the eLab website as well. I mentioned Startup Tree as our software platform. That's there as well. So is Blackstone Launchpad. And I also threw up the link for Eclectic Convergence so you could take a quick peek at who we have speaking. It's an important thing to know. So these are not all Cornell alumni who are speakers. We do like to feature Cornell alums, but my goal in setting up the speakers is just to put on a really, really good show. And that means a mix of Cornell, non-Cornell, and you'll see a bunch of non-Cornell speakers on there as well. It really is just to give some overall fantastic, in this case, fireside chats over Zoom.
Hey, Zach,
Okay.
before we sign out, do you think you could take an opportunity to answer a few of the questions that have popped up here?
Sure. Let me finish this slide and then.
Oh,
I'll
okay.
get back
I'm
to
so
that.
sorry.
That's okay. Yeah, we still have a couple more slides anyway.
Okay.
Critical from our perspective that you join the Entrepreneurship Listserv. This is a very, very easy and efficient and successful way to share information. So a lot of the posts on the listserv are, new company looking for engineering co-founder, etc. It's really, really, really key to join the listserv to stay in the know. We send all the events out to the listserv. In fact, any member of the listserv can send to the listserv, which is key. Right now there's about 5,000 members. I expect after today, there'll be about 5,500 is my guess. And I do moderate the messages. So, it has to pass a certain Zach threshold. It's not very high, okay? But you have to be basically talking about something that relates to Cornell and entrepreneurship and to our Cornell constituents. Okay, you can follow us on social media. All the links are on our homepage, as is how to join the listserv. It's also on our homepage. And as I mentioned earlier, definitely check out the ecosystem map.
Zach,
Okay.
I forgot something really important.
Okay, Ken, go ahead.
I forgot to mention that Vita Innovations, along with getting into eLab, also wins $1,000, which I know that they can use for prototyping. So we will, someone from EHC will be in touch with you, but congratulations on that also.
Nice.
Can't believe I forgot, yeah.
Nice, we love it when we spend our money. It's what we're here for. Okay, so check out the ecosystem map. It really does highlight everything in the Cornell entrepreneurship ecosystem. And when you need help navigating, that's one of our primary functions. Come to us, ask us what you should do. We might be able to help you directly, or we might say, oh, go talk to someone at the Johnson School, or go talk to someone at Cornell or BET. I'm just naming some programs that you can learn about later on today as well. Okay, so it's really, really important to take the time and go through and learn about the ecosystem. Okay, so it is time to jump into the booths, but let me answer some of those questions Amy was talking about. So I'm going to read some questions and just give you some verbal responses. Does EHC include resources or a community with respect to entrepreneurship through acquisition, such as search funds? So there are people, Matan, that know about search funds. We don't have specific programming on search funds. I'm not sure. The Johnson School used to teach a course on that. If Tom Scriver wants to chime in, I'm not sure if he can. You can unmute his mic. He might know whether the Johnson School still teaches a course on search funds. I'm actually not sure, but it would be pretty easy to find out. Okay, how do you recommend building a team? This is a great question. I'm working on an MVP for a product, but I'm not sure where to find others. So this, again, I would use a listserv as a starter, okay, to talk about your product. And by the way, finding team members requires talking about your product. There's some level of trust involved, but it's important not to be shy when it comes to talking about your product. We're all in the Cornell community. It happens very, very infrequently when students get in disputes about ownership. I can't say it never happens because it does, but it's impossible to build a team without disclosing what your product is. So you can use the listserv baton. You can use classes. I'm not sure what year in school you are. Oh, EMBA 22. Oh no, I'm sorry, that's the wrong guy. Devin, I'm not sure what class you are, but you can certainly use classwork and coursework to find people because you're getting to know them through your classwork. And you should be taking advantage and going to events. Even if they're virtual now, I would still go to events because you can meet people in those events. Okay, so I will say this, finding the right team is super, super important. You need to be able to trust the people that you're working with. It's an extremely long dating game or even a marriage, right? Because you're working with the folks day in and night, and it really can be pretty tedious. So find good folks. Just as a reminder, this recording of the entire webinar will be live on our website hopefully within a couple of days, which is wonderful. Anazia says, listserv makes it hard to search for content. She's absolutely right. The problem with Slack is that we have too many people for the Slack channel. So, and a bunch of people don't use Slack, but we could possibly search for a better solution. I don't mind that at all. Claudia asks, when are students informed that they were selected for eLab? Ken, do you want to chime in on that one? Can you pop back in?
Yeah, we're going to be interviewing tomorrow and Friday, and our intention is to get you something Friday night, but the latest will be over the weekend, because those of you that are missing prerequisites will still have a chance to register for the prerequisite that you might need, whether you're an undergrad or a grad. So we want to get that information to you no later than this weekend.
Super. Yeah, again, it's actually definitely important given the fact that we have a lot of people that look for that course credit.
Yeah. And for those of you that don't get in, I just want to reiterate something Zach said. There are lots of ways we're all here to help you. So, Felix's the Blackstone program, all of us mentor team. So, those of you who don't get in, we're going to help you anyway.
Yep. Okay, Amy, have I hit the right questions, or are there more?
You've gotten them all. We needed to actually get a little bit closer to 5:30 because that's when all the booths open, but it's 10 minutes early. That's okay.
It's okay. I'm sure people will be in there, but let's actually go in, because I actually see some more questions now. I'm scrolling through more of them. Which hackathons are coming up soon? Amy, do you want to go into that?
I answered that one. I typed it in.
That's okay. Why don't you give the verbal answer as well?
Oh, sure. Okay, so the first one we've got coming up is the Sustainability Hackathon. It's October 16th to 18th. The next one we've got is going to be the Animal Health Hackathon, February 19th to 21st, and then we'll have Digital Agriculture, March 5th to 7th. And in there, we will also have the Health Hackathon. That date is to be determined right now.
Cool. There's a couple other really, really good questions. So I'm going to actually take the time to answer them. So is eLab the same as the BioVenture eLab competition? The answer is absolutely not. It's funny, when Weil created its BioVenture eLab, there was a big joke that they copied our name in terms of using eLab. Not a problem at all, but the BioVenture eLab is a program run at Weil, primarily for Weil faculty and PhD grad students who are starting companies down at Weil. So it's absolutely not the same program. You will find the BioVenture eLab on our ecosystem map, because it is an important node. Another question asked, do you open up eLab to students that do not have an idea but are simply willing to be part of a group so they can get experience? So the answer, the short answer to that question is no. To join eLab, you actually apply as a team, not as an individual. Hackathons are different in that sense. Anyone can come to a hackathon and find people to work with on an idea at the hackathon. But for eLab, you have to be part of a team.
Hey, Zach, can I comment on that just quickly, because what I saw in the question, I had answered it online in text, is eLab is a business accelerator. So you already have a team, you've done some customer discovery, you're sort of moving along towards potentially actually launching a business, and that's how it's designed. But we do have courses all over campus if you want to have the experience of working on an entrepreneurial project. So if you don't have a team, but you want to meet people and form a team, If you want to learn more about entrepreneurship and work on a startup project or an innovation project, we have a lot of courses, and one of them is Designing New Ventures, MBA 3000 for undergrads, MBA 5640 for graduate students. And those are taught by the same teaching team as eLab, so it's sort of the same curriculum, same content. And that's a great option for those of you. And it's generally a prerequisite for eLab at any event, one of these courses.
Right, and there's a bunch of courses across the university. You can find the entire course map, by the way, on the E@C website. It lists all the courses, and a bunch of them are team-based courses. Another person asked, how do you sign up for Eclectic Convergence? You just go to the Eclectic Convergence website. You'll see register, simple as pie. Another great question, I know the answer has already been given, but will we get email communication about these conferences? The answer is yes, if you sign up for the listserv. Okay, so we're not going to automatically dump you into the listserv because we didn't want to be rude, but by all means, sign up for the listserv. It takes about 10 seconds to sign up. Okay, so go ahead and sign up and you'll get emails about everything. And it's important, you know, email is a primary way of communication, and it's a primary way that our office uses. Okay, with that, Amy, I think I got them all. If not, we can go back, but I think they're all there. I do want to show people as a reminder. So now we're going to jump into the virtual booths. You go back to the registration page. I think I need to switch my screen share, which I'm going to do in a second. I'm going to share a different screen. Okay, so you go back to the kickoff page, and Amy's going to put in the chat box the URL for that if she hasn't already, or somebody else will. And from there, you scroll down and you can see all of these different, what I call nodes. Some of us call them virtual booths, okay? And you'll see all these virtual booths for a bunch, and actually a majority of the programming that goes on across the campus. Okay, so you'll see things that are clubs, you'll see things that are actual programs. You'll be able to chat with young entrepreneurs if you want to. We have a booth that's just young entrepreneurs. You'll see things from Cornell Tech. You'll see things about the Dorm Room Fund. You'll talk about the Entrepreneurship Law Clinic, the Entrepreneurship Innovation Minor, a brand new apprenticeship program, Epsilon Nu Tau, which is an entrepreneurship fraternity. There's a bunch of different things here. You need to scroll down. We have our own booth, by the way, for E@C. Okay, so you need to scroll down, look at which booths interest you, and literally just jump in and out of the booths. So join one, hang out for a bit, get what you want, leave, go in, jump into another one. What I really want to encourage people is not to start, just to start at the top. Okay, we have on this right now, you know, there's a few hundred people on here. If they all of a sudden all landed in Black entrepreneurs in training, that might be a little overload. So scroll down, find one that interests you, and then actually jump in. Okay. Amy, are you happy with that? Do we need anything else?
We look good. It looks good.
Excellent. Okay, so I'm gonna stop the screen share. Someone asked to share the link, Amy. Is it in the chat?
Mm-hmm. It is. I can do it
Everything's
again.
in the chat. Just make sure. Yeah, I'm looking at a different chat, so I can't really see it.
Yep, I just put it in again.
Okay, great. Okay, so we should be all set. It was great talking to you all. And if you have any questions, obviously, we're very, very easy to reach. You can email me directly or anybody on the staff. Okay, so I'm going to jump off as well and go into some of these booths. Thanks again for participating. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye. Okay.